to Courageous Conversations. I'm your host, Rebecca Sharp, and I am truly honored to bring you these testimonies that are woven into conversations meant to create a divine tapestry that captures beauty, grace, strength, passion, and you guessed it, courage. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. Hello and welcome to Courageous Conversations. I am your host, Rebecca Sharp, and I am blessed to be joined by Miss Larissa Lane, who is the consummate beauty professional, educator, holistic wellness advocate, and joy carrier. Larissa, thank you so much for joining us on Courageous Conversations today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad, and it's such a joy to be here.
Absolutely. So if you wouldn't mind just giving a little background on how you and I connected.
Well, you and I connected through Petra International Ministries, where we reside, and that was our first encounters with each other. But we grew closer because you ended up in my chair, and I was your stylist, which made our relationship bloom and blossom into what it is today.
Absolutely. And I am so grateful for that divine appointment, literally, in your chair, because you're right. God really used that to bring us into something that has been really special. So that is a blessing. Larissa, if you could just talk about some of the work that you do. I know in your introduction, I mentioned several things, and yes, she really does do it all. So if you would not mind just giving us a little background on some of the work that you are doing in this season.
So in this season, I am currently working as an educator in a beauty school to help cultivate these future professionals for the salon world, right? And get them ready for the salon world. That's one of the things that I'm doing. Another thing that I do is I have my skincare line, which I am growing into be a major company, and it's holistic, and it's all it's an all natural skincare line for everyone.
Amen.
And so that's one of the projects that I'm working on, and I am still doing hair and makeup for film, which is fun and I love to do as well. So those are just a few things that I have happening.
Yeah, but they're all really powerful projects. And I know all of them have special reasons as to why you're doing them and sort of how God has kept you in each of those. But I want to specifically talk about Skincare by LLA, which I am a very proud consumer of. I love the products, but what I love even more is your why behind starting this company. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I started Skincare by LLA because, well, one, I'm already in the beauty industry, so it's just so natural to go into something like this. But it originated from the idea of my mother passed away some years ago from breast cancer, and in teaching. One of the things that you teach about is nutrition, and you learn about the product ingredients and the things that these ingredients have in them that causes and can lead to cancers and different issues with our bodies. So I was being very intentional on what I was putting on my body and putting in my body. And at some point, I couldn't find anything that worked well, right? Or any products that didn't have things that cause like toxic ingredients in them. So I was like, well, like I can create my own, right? And I started creating them for myself. And then it was like, I was blessed to be able to create something that helped clear up my skin and make me feel beautiful and not have to wear makeup if I don't want to. And I wanted to be able to do the same for other women or other people, not even just women, because it can be used by men and women and children, actually. And it works very well. So it was like just creating something that was for everyone without causing harm to your bodies. There's a lot of things that we have to deal with anyway when it comes to health and wellness, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, why have to worry about what you're putting on your face or on your body, causing or contributing to, cancers and different things like that.
Yeah, and I'm just grateful that you've even elevated our consciousness to be aware of some of those carcinogens and, just
Mhm.
toxic things that we are ingesting or putting on our body. I know you and I have had many conversations that have just
Yes.
really awakened my knowledge. And I'm like, wow, at least I now have the knowledge of this and can be a much smarter consumer, which I think
Mhm.
really underscores your gift and love for educating and teaching. So, can you talk a little bit more about how you've been able to bring your love of pouring into people and encouraging people and being this joy carrier into the education field?
Yes. So while teaching and educating these women, which I get great joy out of doing it, honestly,
Love that.
because I'm able to just, help grow them and be an ear for them and, like pretty much be a mentor for them
Yeah.
and, like help guide them in this industry to where once they do get into these positions as either working in a salon or whatever they choose to do, that they feel comfortable in it, like, and I let them know, and I encourage them that there's going to be trials and troubles that come, but you can succeed, like you can make it through these things. So it's joyful for me to be able to just help pour into these women, encourage them, to continue their journey and to continue to come and setting, new goals and new standards for themselves. So
Yes, and you are a very goal-oriented person. That's something that I truly admire about you. You mentioned the trials and the tribulations that come
yes.
along with achieving great success. Can you
Mhm.
talk about some of the things that you have had to overcome in order to even get to this place today?
Yes. I've overcame a few things, quite a few things to get to this, place as far as like who I am and who God called me to be now.
Amen.
One of them being like, sometimes in relationships going through a breakup, from being in a relationship for 10 years and being afraid to move past it,
Mm.
right? Growing in that area and God, healing me through that process, even when it comes to relationships like friendships and leaving, like breaking off of friendships that I had been friends with or people that I thought I would grow through life with, and just God just molding my heart, like and not becoming a bitter woman, but
Mm.
just trusting that God had plans, God has greater plans for me. Even like going from the salon, like being behind the chair, right? To not being behind the chair anymore necessarily. So that was a transition. That was a scary transition,
Yeah.
even going from here to moving to California. That was very I was very fearful, very scared, but just trusting God and trusting that God had greater plans for me and for my life. And that, at the end of the day, he's never going to fail me. Like he's never failed me. He's never, let me down before. So just knowing that even whenever trials and different things come, they also grow you, they mold you into the person that you are, who you're meant to be, So
Amen.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And it's very evident that you are a woman of faith and of prayer and of trust and of belief. Can you talk about some of the crazy faith journeys that you've been on? You mentioned a few, but really how your faith has been cultivated through tough times in your life.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of it's just learning to let go of control, right?
Mm.
Is
Whew,
letting go of control.
that's
And
tough.
because sometimes yes, it's tough and it's funny because like there's levels of control,
Mm.
there's so many levels of control and there's moments where it's like, okay, you have to surrender everything, surrendering everything and trusting, putting your trust in belief that God is taking you far beyond what you could have ever imagined. One of the I feel like one of my journeys, it just so happened to be the one to California. That was I felt
Talk to
like
us about
I
that.
was
Yeah, talk to us about your crazy faith journey to California and back.
okay. So you being honest, going to California at first, it was like, okay, God was like sharing with me that he wanted me to go to California. I always had a desire to go to California. I really wanted to be in LA. My desire was to work in film and television, you know, in California. That was my desire. But at the time, God had me working on skincare at the time and building up my skincare and working on certain things and giving me new vision for it. And for me, it was like in my mind, I wanted this, but God was like, no, you're doing this. And I ended up going to California, and it's crazy because I didn't bring any skincare or anything.
Wow.
And I was just like working hard. This is when you know it's not what you're supposed to be doing, because you find yourself working hard and you become drained, you know. And being there, it was like I had this moment where I had went to this makeup class and my phone died, like it crashed. And I'm in California, I have no car. I'm catching Ubers and Lyfts everywhere. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get to my home.
Wow.
From where I was. I was in like Burbank and I lived like 30 minutes away. And so I'm like, I have no idea to even get home. So I'm like, okay, I have to figure out how, you know, this in itself was a whole journey. And like, you know, just trusting God and God was just like, okay, do this, you know, do this. And I found my way at the Apple store in the mall. And while being there, it was like, okay, God, you didn't just bring me to this Apple store in the mall for no reason. And God's just like, explore, you know. So I'm walking through the mall and I see these skincare stores. And like, I was just like, okay, I got you. Like, and it was the only thing in the mall that like caught my attention. And I was just like in there, and God's just like this, look at this vision. Like, look at this. Like, you know, this is here. It's a possibility. Like your skincare line, this is possible, you know, like stop being afraid. This is possible. So, you know, even I was like, okay, God, I got you. So then once I grasped that and remember, like, okay, this is really why I'm here. God was like, okay, time to go back to Pittsburgh. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't, because of the fear of what people would say, the fear of failure, because what everyone thought my goal was, as to why I was going, what I thought I wanted to do, you know, while I was there, and just a fear of what people would say, a fear of what people would think, you know. And I was just like, okay, but at some point it was like God was just like, why does it matter? If do what they think matter, or is it what I think that matters? And it was another level of I had to surrender, and I was like, you know what, God, you're right. So I remember coming back, and within 10 minutes I got a phone call to do makeup for a film. And God showed me, like, you don't have to be there to do this, you know. Like, yes, that can come, that's gonna come, and it's gonna come wherever you are, but I need you to do what I'm calling you to do, which is the skincare line, because it's not just about me, it's tied to so many greater things than I am. So I had to surrender myself. So that was a journey. Like, that California trip was a journey, you know, of faith.
But now it can be used as ministry, right? And so we always talk about how God wastes nothing, and he truly does take all things and works them together for our good and his glory. I want to specifically, because you've mentioned fear of transition, fear of starting over, fear of people might think, you know, is going on in your life. Can you talk to us about how you've sort of looked fear in the face and been able to overcome it throughout your life?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, fear and faith, they can't they can't coexist, you know. So it's like you're either going to have fear or you're going to have faith.
Whew,
you know. So it's those moments where it's like, okay, I'm afraid, like, you know, I'm afraid, and I, like, you know, you recognize it, and I'm like, okay, why am I afraid, you know? And it's like, what are you afraid for, you know? Like, what is that going to do for you? So even if you're scared, still do it scared, you know. Like,
scared. Whew.
Yeah, if you're scared, that's fine, we all get scared, still do it, you know, do it scared, at least it gets done, you know. Because at the end of the day, for me, what makes me continue to have faith is because, like I said, it's not about me. is greater than I am. It's bigger than me. You know, everything, people are tied to you. People are tied to your purpose,
Amen.
you know? So, and it's like, if I don't do it, then I leave it for the next generation to do it.
Wow. Wow.
So it's like, you know, it got to get done anyway. So let's just do it now. So my kids, or, you know, the next generation has their own, they had their own thing they're going to have to do, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Conquer these giants today so that our children, godchildren, nieces, and nephews won't have to conquer those same giants. Absolutely. And as you're
Yeah.
talking about your purpose sort of impacting the larger world around you and being connected to so many other generations of people, what do you wish that the world would practice better?
I wish the world would practice loving each other better, like kindness. Um, I feel like love and kindness is, there are two major things, and respect
Mhm.
and understand, like listening,
Yeah.
understanding, you know. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just imagine those things: love, respect, kindness, understanding. If those were really like the predominant thoughts in our minds, how different our interactions would be, right? And the world would look a lot more like on earth as it is in heaven, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
The beautiful thing is people like yourself, you know, you are carrying that joy, you are bringing that light, you are being an example and a model of love. And because you are connected to so many other people, you are positively impacting their lives and really helping all of us to be reminded that that's how we're supposed to show up in the world. So thank you for letting your light
Oh, this is you, girl. You know, this is all God. This is that God glow. Okay, just
shine.
shining right
Let's
through
talk about
me.
the God glow because, you
Listen.
know, I know this is a little off script, but I know, Larissa, that you have experienced a lot of challenging things in your life. You have tremendous loss, and there's just been a lot of different trauma, right, that you've had to go
Hmm.
through. But first of all, you don't look like what you've been through. And
Thank
secondly,
you.
yes, you just have this like tenacious resolve to like do it, you know, and to not allow
Hmm.
those things to hinder you from walking into the fullness of who God has called you to be. Where does that come from?
Honestly, it's God. That I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's like, it's something that is like, there's something in me is like, there's something bigger. You
Mm,
know, there's something bigger, there's something greater.
yeah,
You can't stop. No matter what, you can't stop. You know,
yeah,
because I look at where my family's come from. I look at how far, you know, they've come. So it's like, who am I to stop?
mm,
You know, like, who am I to stop and be lazy?
right.
Like, there, you know, this is for, you know, next generations. So they have to keep going, you know, like we've come far, but we have so much further to go. So it's like, you know, keep going.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, don't leave it for the next person to do it. Do your part, you know?
Amen. So powerful. So, so powerful. And I feel like that's the perfect segue into what do you desire for your legacy to be?
I desire for my legacy to be um, kingdom building, um, loving, just like I love, and you know, kindness, and building, you know, like generational wealth, and you know, education and wellness. Um, yeah, just yeah, that's my legacy.
Yeah, yeah. And you're already walking in those things now, you know, so you are already sort of building up your timber.
Yes, yes. You know, like being, you know, humanitarian and philanthropist, and
Yeah,
those things are just so, I
yeah.
feel like they're key, you know?
You said something when we were talking before, and you're like, it's for the people that have come before me and those that have
Yes,
and
yes.
that's it
That's
right there. Summed
that's
up
it.
pretty simply.
That's literally what it's about, you know, like we have to, you know, like people before us, they've come so far, they've done so much, you know, but then like they're, if they hadn't done what they had done, or you know, have come how far they've come, we wouldn't be where we are now, right?
Yeah.
And now we have to connect it to um those coming after us. you know? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing more of your journey today and having this courageous conversation with me. I know that there were a lot of gems and jewels that you deposited. And so my prayer is that there is fertile soil in the hearts and minds of those who will listen in and watch this interview, and that they will truly be edified and exhorted as I have been
mhm.
hearing from you, sister. And I just want to know if there are any ways that we can stay in touch with you and follow your work and support the positive difference that you're making in the world.
Yes, you guys can follow me. Well, first, thank you, sis. Thank you, Rebecca, for having me on. I really appreciate you. But yeah, you all can find me on Instagram at Larissa D Lane, or you can go to larissalane.com, and that's how you can find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Make sure you check her out and please support Skincare by LLA. Your body will certainly thank you for it. Again, we appreciate you coming on and gracing us with your presence today. Thank you for joining this episode of Courageous Conversations, and we will see you next time. God bless.